For input, Alan Clark joining us there from Scotia Bank. Well, what does all of this mean to Wall Street, the crisis, the Eurozone? We've got more cheery news, certainly, about the, much-awaited internet giant's hyped share listing, Facebook. Michelle joins us from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Michelle, let's just start with US markets, US treasuries. It does seem to be, a picture that Wall Street's kind of blowing off this global sell-off we've seen.
Well, I think what you're seeing is investors here in the United States are focusing on some good economic news, which has come out in the last sort of few minutes about the housing market, which has been, as you may recall, sort of one of the weakest areas in the US economy and certainly sort of holding back part of the recovery here. Now, housing starts came in better than expected. Investors were cheered by that, and that's why you're seeing the markets, the Dow Jones, up 84 points. Of course, as you mentioned, Europe not far from investors, traders' minds, but right now it's the economic data here that's really at the forefront.
Okay, well, that's one good thing to hear. Let's talk about Facebook, because, you know, you and I are going to be talking about for the next few days, indeed, the expected IPO on Friday. Let me get this straight. So yesterday, they raised the IPO share price range. Today, they boosted the number of shares they're going to put on offer by something like 25%. Also, the mighty GM, General Motors, had something to say about the company.
Well, it's interesting, as you mentioned, yesterday we saw that increase in the price range. Today they've said the number of shares that are going to be available for investors to buy has gone up by about 84 million. The reason for this is not that the company is planning to sell more shares, it's just that investors, insiders in the company and early investors are going to be selling those extra shares. So the company won't see the benefit, if you like, from those share sales. Of course, this comes at a time when we've just heard that General Motors says it's not going to advertise anymore on Facebook, saying that it wasn't terribly effective for the company. Now, in response, rival auto Detroit car maker Ford came out and said actually they'd had better success. But it does go to this point that people keep talking about, which is what is the growth model for Facebook going forward? Can advertisers make money from it? Is it a useful tool? And that's something that sort of has worried some investors, but clearly the appetite is definitely there because the increased allotment of shares suggests that they think the demand is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's going to be all things Facebook over the next couple of days. Michelle, great stuff. We'll talk to you very soon. Michelle Fleury joining us from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Let's move.